Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs, and may the force be with all of you, John Campea Show viewers. I'm, of course, Robert Meyer Burnett, and this is Andor Episode 8 Aftershow. But it wouldn't be a great show unless I have my compatriot, my comrade in the force.
Aw.
Miss Chris Carr. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing excellent, Rob. This was a really fun episode where not a lot happened, but a lot happened, like you were talking about.
You know, I'll tell you something. I was reading an article right before we went on about why this show, I think it was on CNET, not a place I usually read things from. But CNET, there was an article that I thought was pretty good that was talking about why Andor is one of the best shows on TV right now.
It's the running.
But thank you, Jonathan. The point that it was making is that throughout the last 45 years of Star Wars, we never were really shown why the Empire is bad. Other than the fact that Darth Vader wears black armor, you have jackbooted thugs that look like
It's got
Nazis.
a weird respiratory system.
Yeah, and you have stormtroopers.
Yeah.
But the actual why rebel? Like, what is it about the system? What is it about the Empire that would make a group of people put their lives on the line to smash this system? And they were saying that this is the strength and heart of what this show is. And I totally agree with that. And I think it's never been, I mean, we've seen it. We've seen what kind of oppression the Empire is bringing, but never more so than in this episode. These horrible, technologically advanced, sterile THX 1138 prisons, the fact that ordinary citizens on planets that don't have a lot are in fear for their lives as soon as there's one appearance of an Imperial officer, and the ruthlessness and the efficiency of the mid-level Empire functionaries we've never seen before.
Yeah.
We're always seeing captains of starships or generals on the Death Star, but we aren't seeing the day-to-day, work-a-day Imperial officers that kind of like their job, or at least take pride in it. And they're going to get you.
Oh, yeah. They are just as ruthless as anyone we've met. And they're the paper pushers.
Absolutely. And I love that about this show. I mean, it really, there are two things going on. We saw the Empire, obviously they're tightening their grip during this show because of what Luthen has done and his team have done. And we've also learned that there is disparate rebel groups that are fractious. They're all over the place. They're not allied together behind one voice, which I thought was fascinating. I mean, the scene with Luthen and Saw Gerrera is my favorite scene in
It was great.
episode. And how neither one of them, I mean, we know the truth, but how they were seeing if one, like, did you do it? No, you did it, didn't you? You did it. But then when you saw Saw get angry about who should help, and you learn that there's even within the rebels, there's a human-centric group. There's separatists. There's all these fractures. It reminded me of like some war-torn land where you have 10 warlords trying to run the country. And in this case, with the rebellion, it doesn't look good, like they're going to get everybody rallying behind a voice.
No.
Which is where I can see either, I don't think Luthen is going to make it till the end of the show, the series, but
No.
Mon Mothma is. And maybe as we see this beautiful, elegant woman that can sort of, I don't know, navigate the currents and eddies of the rivers of the Imperial Senate. I mean, I just see her as being teed up to be the leader because I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about what I'm saying?
Well, one of the really interesting things from the Saw discussion, too, was that line of, aren't you tired of fighting with people who agree with you? Which I loved because what a wonderful political statement, too.
Oh, my God.
Because there's always so much infighting, right? When you look at politics in any country, even people who have the same kind of standards and sensibilities often fight about those of, you aren't, enough of this. You don't agree with this enough. Your methods are not pushing them to what we need them to be. We always have that kind of in-group fighting, which is really, really interesting to see brought into Star Wars because this all is, I mean, I know we've talked about how like this is Star Wars for grown-ups, but Star Wars always has been this very big allegory for war, right? It's always been pulling from our own history. So to see it really reflect modern sensibilities and modern politics was really, really cool for me. And I'm with you. I think Mon Mothma obviously is going to be standing at the end. We know that she makes it through. But seeing her really just kind of revving up just the finance aspect of it, connecting with her old school pal Tay, seeing that man bun husband of hers. He's starting to catch on, I think. We're seeing those little side eye moments, and he is starting to go, my wife's a little sus.
But we also learned that they had like a marriage not based on love.
15.
Yeah. 14, I think. 15, 14.
I think it was 15 because she was a senator by 16.
Oh, right. She was young was this arranged? This was part of our
their customs.
I mean, wow.
So we have that other line too, right? To each people their own of that's what you do on your planet. And hey, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's your journey.
I mean, there was so much the world building. I mean, I think there's more planets in this show that I'm trying to memorize. I can't remember.
Which feels so nice because we always it feels like we talk about the same planets constantly in Star Wars. And it's a vast galaxy far, far away from us, right? I want to hear about all these other places and all those other customs.
I mean, I hope at Disneyland, they do a new Star Tours because they can add all these new planets. Come visit the beaches of blah, blah, blah.
I friggin' love that ride so much.
I mean, I can't wait to do the Andor version of Star Tours because there's a lot to add. And, we did see, look, the prison, the fascist, horrible prison that Andor finds himself in, brightly lit, absolutely clean and sterile.
Star Wars sponsored by the Lumen Company.
Wow. I mean, I would never want to be there. I never. The lights never go off, really. I mean, you're on the way they can torture you with the weight or the
through your
heat
feet.
and oh my God.
But hey, you can eat all you want.
You can eat all you want
out of a hose.
Whatever sludge they're feeding you.
Ugh.
No, it was not a place. And I don't know what they're making. It felt like we're going to find out they're not making anything. They just have this contraption that everybody builds, and every day somebody takes it apart and sends the pieces up to a different area, and that's all they do.
It's all just meaningless.
Meaningless.
I thought they might be parts for the Death Star.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure we'll find out that's what they are.
And Taylor, you were saying that they were maybe droid parts or something like that?
I don't know. I was thinking it would be really cool if they were K2SO units. I don't know the actual name of the droid, but the K2SO
that
would be really
model.
cool. But I don't think so. Based on the shape of it, I don't think that's what it is. But it'd be cool.
And what I really loved is that you see that by the end of the episode, Cassian Andor has become very adept at putting whatever this thing is together. I mean, that's what they've done. That's what this fascist system, even though they're in prison, has beat them down to become good at building whatever this contraption is. And what a nightmare. And the final episode, the final shot of the episode, when it shows how adept this team has become. An award-winning team now, or you won the day.
Yeah.
The camera just pulls back through that room that they're in, watching these guys. Andor has learned how to make whatever the hell that thing is supposed to be, meaning that the Empire has won. It's not like Andy Dufresne in Red in the Shawshank prison talking about hope.
Yeah.
This is the most mechanized dehumanization I've ever seen, and I'm there for it.
It's just like a poster of Bix.
Well, that'd be ridiculous. Caught me off guard so much. Well, I really like, though, that we've seen Cassian be very adaptable throughout this series, right? But this one was a very dehumanizing situation where there is no glory or any kind of hubris you could take from being able to do this, really. I mean, not truly, not in the way he could when he was, pointing out who's left-handed or things like that and showing his worth and everything. This is a, adapt or perish moment, which I think has been a lot of Cassian's life. But in this particular situation, it's uncomfortable to watch how well this team comes together and how fluid their movements are.
No, it really is. And I think that what this show has been very adept at showing us is how people are being dehumanized on many different levels in many different places across many different walks of life. I mean, Mon Mothma is having her humanity slowly drained from her, having to deal with these bureaucrats, even though she's living high on the hog. I mean, the rot of this civilization is everywhere.
But that's what I love about the show, too, is Luthen's message overall of we have to get it to this point so people wake up.
Right, exactly.
And again, it reflects modern sensibilities of most people don't pay attention until something is atrocious, until something is so unbearable or they themselves are personally affected by that. you know? And so I think the show is just masterfully doing that. Oh, and we have Cyril back in this one too.
And who was great. I mean, I hate that guy, but I respect that guy.
That actor is phenomenal.
I
He's
mean-
so good. He's so compelling.
And the fact that she, what's her, I want to say, I always keeps calling her
Daedra.
Deirdre.
It's like Deidre, but
Daedra.
Daedra, I think.
But she's not, what I love is she's not stupid. And I have to say, what's so great about her character is everyone makes fun of how the stormtroopers are terrible shots. But on the flip side, you look at somebody, this is why the Empire is actually dangerous, is because there are people like her that are really good at their jobs, and she can recognize when Cyril might have something to actually add to what's going on, like, oh my God, he might be onto something. And she'll pursue that, even though everybody, she's now gotten a position where she doesn't have to put up with any of this bullshit anymore. She's like, no, you'll bring him in here and he'll listen, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
and she'll do this. And I love that because, you know, villains should not be buffoons. They should be really good at their jobs.
Yeah.
That's why Hans Gruber and his whole team in Die Hard was so much fun, because they were really good at what they did. And they could have pulled it off if the fly in the ointment wasn't there. I believe these Imperial officers, and they're scary because of it.
Oh, absolutely.
They're
they are.
great villains. And I've missed that, other than Darth Vader who walks in and force chokes you. But these are villains that they're here and now. We live with these kinds of villains here amongst us. And that's what I think is really great about the show. I know there's a lot of people frustrated because there isn't Jedis and there aren't lightsabers flying around, and there aren't, you know, Yaddle doesn't take on Count Dooku like she does.
Oh, man. But
in
you
episode
can
4.
go watch that too.
Oh, I know, that was a great part. I did.
Oh.
I did. I went and I watched Tales of the Jedi. I did
Yeah.
watch episode 4.
I only watched
Which I
1 and 2, but
recommend.
man, so fun. It's just a really good, like, dark and moody Star Wars week. And I'm here
Yes.
for it.
Me too.
I'm really, really enjoying it. What a time to be a Star Wars fan, honestly. And it's nice because I know I've brought this up before, but when we've talked about other Star Wars shows in the past, you know, they have been a little lackluster. And it's so nice to come on these shows and talk about what we love and how it's doing well. And I know it's not firing on all the cylinders for everyone, but man, I just hate doing an after show when I'm not jazzed about a series. This has been nice.
I mean, I know it's completely counter to what people usually get out of
Yeah.
Star Wars. But for me, they're leaning into the wars part of it so well, and the Empire. Star Wars, this is going to define Star Wars, I think, moving forward for a long time, because finally the context of what they are fighting for it's in stark relief in this show. And I couldn't love it more.
Oh, for sure. I'm right there with you.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't. Now, what do you think? Do you think that Cassian's going to be able to find his own way out of this crazy mechanized THX 1138 prison, or is someone going to bust him out?
I feel like Luthen's going to be involved here. I really think there's going to be, because he is set on having Cassian as, you know, one of his little birds. That's how it seems, at least, especially when dealing with his assistant, when they were talking about getting rid of, you know, Ferrix and communicating with them and everything. He seems real keen on keeping Cassian within his grasp.
Right.
So I feel like he's going to pull some strings or something there too.
I just wonder if Cyril and Deirdre aren't going to find him and pull him out to be questioned, and then he escapes.
Ooh, I like that. That'll be a fun heist
Because
moment.
I mean, they're going to. I think they'll
Love a
be
jailbreak.
surprised to find he's already incarcerated under a different name.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's where it's going.
I do love the bureaucratic nature of this, though, of he's in prison and he has such a great fake ID that he's been incarcerated under that other pseudonym. I think that's wonderful. I think that's a fun little layer.
It is fun. I can't wait to see more of that.
Oh, real quick too, Vel and Sintra. Do you think there's any smoke to the theories that Vel is Luthen's daughter? Or do you think
Maybe.
she's just an agent?
Maybe. Now, I don't know. I mean, that seems a little callous if she is, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past the show. Now, were they supposed to kill Cassian or just find him? They were just supposed to,
The assistant made it sound like she needed to kill him
Yeah.
in the last episode.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So,
They could be the people who bust him out too, to make sure he is taken
Yeah.
care of.
and my great love Bix, you know, now that they found her.
They did. They captured her after trying to take care of Cassian's mama.
No matter how much I like watching her run around those crowded streets, And Cassian's mom not doing well. We got our favorite droid back, though.
B2Emo so concerned about her knees.
I know.
About her chill.
And that was, I mean, I don't see, I think that we're going to lose her before Cassian's there to say goodbye.
I think so too.
I mean,
His
I love
life
this.
has to be steeped in tragedy.
Yes, this whole thing is, and that's another thing. We've lost people. Ben Kenobi has died. Vader has died. Yoda has died. Many people die. But I have not felt the tragedy like I feel watching this show. I don't know. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Well, should we see what our viewers have to say?
I think so.
We won't until after we hear from our sponsor at Mint Mobile.
It's the Mint Mobile button.
1 second.
Or maybe not.
It's over there.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding. There isn't one. Mint Mobile just has premium wireless from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find all these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. With my old wireless provider, every month when I opened the bill, it was like playing roulette. I never knew how big the bill was going to be, and it always seemed to get bigger. With Mint Mobile, it's totally different. I know exactly how little I'm paying every month, and there's never any surprises. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. And at Mint Mobile, families start at just 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And guys, you get to use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. So transferring over couldn't be easier. So to get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists, go to mintmobile.com/Campia. That's mintmobile.com/Campia. You'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campia.
And thanks to our friends at Mint Mobile for sponsoring this Andor After Show. Chris, I got to ask you, do you think this whole thing is just an elaborate origin story for Snoke?
Oh,
Because
man.
we have Andy Serkis?
That'd be amazing if it was.
I don't think it is. But it could be.
It'd be great.
I mean, I got a little yelled at today. You know, John's like, Andy Serkis's appearance is a spoiler. But I'm like, it's just an actor playing a nondescript
I got
role.
excited. I got excited about him being in there because I hadn't watched the episode yet when you said that. And I was like, hell yeah, I love Andy Serkis.
He's great, too.
And we almost saw his butt. Got real close to seeing some tushy in Star Wars.
Wow. There needs to be more tushy. Didn't we see size Snoodles tushy? I didn't want to see it, but didn't we? Maybe not.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, but no, I thought
Star
Andy
Wars,
Serkis
tush
was.
watch.
I thought Andy Serkis was. There was a tush within running that I enjoyed quite a bit.
We know, Rob.
So I thought that it was really interesting because Andy Serkis, the idea of somebody, a prisoner, an inmate, like some kind of a capo who has been given, like by the guards, given authority to lord over his own people.
who has-
Very concentration camp like.
It had that vibe, right? And less than a year on his sentence left, too.
Yeah.
So, making the most of those, 248 days, I think it was?
Absolutely, he's short, and he was terrific. But man, what a turncoat! That's what the Empire does to you.
Yeah. He did such a great job. I mean, he's just such a force whenever he's on screen or whenever he does mocap or anything. He's so incredible. And just the very, very basic, this is how this works, here's your table number, all of that was so compelling. And I think another actor wouldn't have handled that as deftly. And it was just,
It
chef's
was
kiss.
incredible. It's funny coming off of directing the $500 million grossing Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just like, yeah, would you like to do a bit part on this this episode of Andor? Sure.
Why not?
Absolutely. Why not? Yeah. Well, let's see what all of our viewers have to say about Andor. Do you love this show as much as we do or not? Let's find out. What do we got?
All right. From Curtis Lopez, how intense is this prison for Serkis to yell at the inmates to be quiet when no one in that line uttered barely a peep?
That's intense. Mm-hmm. I mean, scary stuff.
He's the Trunchbull of space. Little Matilda reference for you today.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Thanks. All right. Another one from Curtis. Andor is me when I'm part of group school projects. When he first entered the prison factory, I just sit back and watch the smarter people do the work. Oh, Curtis, you are the bane of group projects. I hated doing group projects because I was the smart one who did everything. It's a really easy way of saying I was a big nerd pushover, but
Yeah, but you gotta lay back and see who's doing what and who's, I think it's always good to get the lay of the land, especially in prison. You can't speak up right away. You don't want to be one of the people that the early bird gets the worm kind of guy, no, or girl or
Yeah.
alien. By the way, speaking of aliens, I did like the fact that at the dinner party, we saw more aliens,
Yeah.
a lot of different aliens.
this has been pretty humanoid.
It's been pretty human. What we find out now that there is, which is something I didn't understand until listening to Saul Guerrera mention that there is a big humanoids only
Yeah, cultists,
contingent
yeah.
cultists amongst even the rebellion. Not cool.
No, not cool at all.
So very much though real world based. But yeah.
Man.
Anyway, what's next?
From Nathaniel, in my friend group, there's a generational split. If you grew up loving the prequels, you're kind of meh with the series. But if you grew up loving the original trilogy, you love Andor. Oh, that's very interesting.
That is very interesting. Well, I mean, I think the problem with the prequels, if you consider them a problem, is they're very simplistic. They're more so than even the original trilogy, which has a lot more shades of gray to it. The prequels are very fairy tale like and very simple
Yeah,
from their
horrific
relation.
dialogue.
Yes, and they don't. I don't think the problem with the prequels to me is there's not a lot of reality in terms of people and their relationships. It's very much. It almost feels like you're reading a gold key version of a little
yeah,
illustrated
a little golden book.
a golden book. Yes, a gold key is a comic company. A golden book of a story where it's the most simplistic thing ever. And I can understand that there's eye candy throughout the prequels, but this is an oppressive. This is not fun.
Yeah.
The prequels at least are fun. They're always
You got
joking.
pod racing. Heck, they're filming on location in Lake Como. I mean, it's gorgeous. But
Yeah,
this is a little more
this is the
intense.
real deal. But I understand that. I can understand that this is a very, very different Star Wars. And I think there's a level of sophistication here you have to buy into that we've never seen in this franchise before.
For sure. I am going to have to ask people, though, who I knew watched the prequels first, and that was their introduction, how they're feeling about Andor, because I didn't realize that was maybe a point of division for folks. Like, that might be the key to it.
See, it's hard for me to deal with that because for me, I saw Star Wars when I was a kid, the original opening weekend, and it was such a seminal experience for me. And when I saw the prequels, they were disappointing. And I know that people grew up with the prequels who were younger, but I can't. To me, the prequels just don't really. The story's interesting, but the execution doesn't really work.
The prequels were the first Star Wars I saw in a movie theater.
Oh, okay.
I had cool parents, though, who were like, you have to watch this, small child. And would put in the VHS and we'd watch Star Wars and everything. And when we had the real release in theaters, my dad would be like, this is bullshit. This thing here, don't like that. Don't do that.
Yeah, and
like, well,
but
thanks,
I
Dad.
understand. I mean, the thing is, the prequels are what really gave way to also the Clone Wars series, which both Clone Wars series and
Fantastic.
Rebels. And I mean, if you grew up, if you were a prequels person, you got that animated stuff to fill in the blanks, and I totally get that, and I understand why this would be rejected by those people because this is much different than that.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing up that point, though. That was
It's a great point. Now I'm going to start asking people, all the younger people. My cutoff is 30.
No one won't speak to anyone under 30. Not a one. From Jason A. Anyone else have Cassian moving into their top tier of Star Wars characters with Luke, Obi-Wan, Han, etc.? He's in mine now, and I did not expect that.
I have to be honest. I don't know if I like Cassian Andor.
Same.
I think he is he's in prison for a reason. He lost his cool, and he shoots dudes. I mean, I understand he's got to be cold-blooded and all that, but I don't see him. And we certainly know his ending isn't necessarily heroic. He's doing what he has to do to survive, but I'm still waiting for him to go above and beyond. I don't know if he ever will, and maybe that's the point.
Right? I mean, we're seeing him now as this young hothead and everything who has a lot to learn. And sure, should he have been thrown in jail for being on the beach by the shore troopers? No. But, I mean, he also has done a lot of questionable things along the way. And just, I wouldn't put him in the tier 2 of like, Han, at least, even when he's making bad decisions, still has lovable rogue about him. He's a scoundrel. Luke, is our window character who we all can relate to because everyone has at some point, well, most people, I will say, have felt like that kid trapped in a place they don't want to be and they have bigger, grandiose hopes and dreams for themselves, Ben Kenobi is a incredible character who, didn't get the story he was due, but I mean, is so interesting. I don't know if I'd put Cassian in there right now.
No, and look, I mean, like you said, he's a hothead. He's also insecure. If he had if that short trooper stopped him, he should have said yes, sir. Stood there, but he was too sketchy, and he didn't play the part well, and that's why he got thrown in jail, and that's why I mean I don't know how he's going to get out, but I like the fact that I don't love him.
Yeah.
Because I want to see where he's going to go. I love Luthen.
His redemption is in Rogue One.
Yes.
Sure.
His redemption is in Rogue One. That's exactly right.
Yeah, Luthen is the one, though, who, if I'm going to enjoy a very morally great character right now, I'm all about Luthen.
And Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Mon Mothma, Luthen, and then, of course, Bix. Those are my favorite characters in the show.
They're great.
What's the over-under that Size Noodles is what gets Andor out of prison next episode?
I think it's under 50%.
Chris, what about you?
Definitely under.
All right.
Because it's Max. She's just the front person. It's Max Rebo who's the brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max Rebo's the brains, Size Noodles the buns.
There you go. That's correct. What's next?
From Matt Cassidy, Origins of Snoke, LOLJK. Love Andy Serkis.
Yes, Matt, I was kidding about that, the origins of Snoke, but it would be kind of fun. But yeah, Andy Serkis, again, great. Always, I mean, maybe he turns into that.
There's a horrific building accident in the prison, and
Yeah.
this is what we get then. And he learns how to use the Force after he spends time in Camartage, and that's the crossover event we deserve.
There you go. And clearly he lost, when he sank to the bottom of the ocean, he lost some of his face to a fish.
Obviously.
That's what happened.
Now they
Yeah.
call him Fish Face.
Aw.
That's right.
Poor Snoke. The man with a master plan. Last week, I said Deirdre could be Andor's sister, but after this episode, I'm no longer on that train. I also was on the edge of the seat every time they show the prison, wondering if and how Andor will escape.
I feel that way too. I mean, that prison looks pretty impenetrable. I mean, it's great. You know, you think about last week, a movie called No Escape that Ray Liotta's in, that Gale Ann Hurd produced. I love future prison movies. There's a great one in Face Off between the movie with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
John
where
Woo
they
directed.
take their faces off.
Yeah. I love, there's a futuristic
aware.
prison sequence in there. I love futuristic prisons. And this one is top tier futuristic prison.
Just training, just planning out your future.
You know, if Christopher Lambert was there, like in Fortress or in Guardians of the Galaxy, great futuristic prisons.
That is
This
a good
one's
one.
This one's top tier though.
Yeah. Agreed.
What's next?
From Brandon Nesmodine. Two great Star Wars shows today, Andor and Tales of the Jedi. Can we just talk about Tales of the Jedi for a second?
Yes,
I know this
we
is
should.
an Andor show, but like, you guys, y'all, watch this. Please, please watch this. This is so cool. It's stunning. The storytelling, both from like an actual narrative perspective, but from a visual perspective, is just, look at baby Ahsoka. Look at her sweet little face.
I mean, I watched episode 4, The Sith Lord, and you get more of Dooku's backstory and training Qui-Gon, and it really sounded to me like Liam Neeson did the voice. I can't speak to that for sure. Dave
I need to
Filoni
double check.
directed
Yeah.
and wrote the episode. Yaddle, wow, what a story. And 15 minutes, man, I was totally affected by it. Really, really good. That was the only episode I watched. You watched the first 2?
Yeah.
How
they're
many are there?
great.
8?
I think there's 8 total. Each one is about 15 minutes long, so you
Okay.
can get through it pretty quickly. But man, really, really great stuff. And I mean, this is what Dave Filoni, I think, just does really, really well
Yep.
too. And doing these kind of one-off stories that do connect with the larger universe. It's just so well done. And I know sometimes too, people aren't as on to like the Star Wars animation as they are the live action. I think y'all should change your mind about that if you're of that camp, because whew, this is good storytelling.
Oh, and this really added to especially Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
At least episode 4. And I got to give a shout out. The sound designers of this. There is, if you're a fan of the movie Alien, you hear effects from the Nostromo from the beginning of the movie when the Nostromo picks up the signal from LV-426, and you totally hear that in the Jedi archives when Dooku is going to erase the Sifo Dyas stuff all about Kamino, which is great. You now have a canonical moment where Dooku erases Kamino from the Jedi archives. And the whole thing about Sifo Dyas' order for the clones, which I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I hope that's not, well, this is a spoiler show, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's only a 15-minute animated series, but or animated show.
More
but,
spoilers for you.
But the sound effects. Somebody tweeted back to me that they heard Blade Runner ambience as well. This is no accident. This is done on purpose, and I'm so there
These
for
are
it.
people
Kudos
who
to them.
love sci-fi and know what they're doing. So
Yeah.
watch it, you guys. Watch that and Andor.
Good
All
stuff. I mean, can you imagine? We've got 2 original, 1 animated, 1 live action at the same time.
It's so great.
Love it.
Oh,
What's next?
we have from Jason A. I'm on Team Rob. Saying an actor is in an episode is not a spoiler. Also, why am I feeling sorry for Cyril getting snubbed? I shouldn't, but I do. I know I do too. That's a testament to the writing and the acting.
That's exactly right. And the thing is, I respect him, even though he's a major douche canoe.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to be good at his job. Even though I don't like somebody or a character, if they're a good character and they're competent, I can't not help but like them. Even though he's trying to, find Andor and prosecute him. What's funny is they want to find Andor and throw him into jail. They don't know he's already there. The place that he would wind up anyway, he's already there. But I do appreciate that Cyril is really trying to do a great job.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little twat waffle, but man, he really wants to do his job well. And there is something to be said about someone who is, very, very sure and steadfast in their convictions and does not like government corruption, which is a bit ironic.
And
given the type
Daedra
of
is
guy.
learning to reluctantly admire him, which I like too. I mean, this is great storytelling.
Yeah.
And the character work is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So,
And also, I agree with you. I don't think Rob spoiled anything today.
no, I mean,
But,
an
that's just me.
actor. I mean, but if he had played somebody from the past, like some
Yeah.
major, if I said, but yes.
If you were like, Chris, oh my gosh, Palpatine shows up in this episode and murders everyone, I'd be like, oh, Andy
Size
Serkis is
noodles.
Snoke.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done, yeah.
Size
yeah.
Noodles twerks away into prison.
Yeah. I mean, that would have gotten me more excited. But
Max Rebo's behind it all.
Marie Seafring, I like that they showed there are many different rebellions and the difficulties unifying the different factions.
Oh, Marie, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really think that at the end, whatever the end game is of this first season, it's going to be the unification of these factions. And that the scene between Luthen and Saw Gerrera, I mean, if you think about it, they were literally, when you're directing something, when you're directing a conversation, there's always a compulsion to try and, when people are planted in one place, like sitting, to make it more interesting. How do you don't want people just sitting at a table. Like you watch the opening of Reservoir Dogs, Quentin Tarantino is spinning a camera around that table.
Yep.
But in this, it was Luthen and Saw Gerrera sitting down. That's it. And they were having this conversation, and I was on the edge of my seat because they're telling you everything you need to know about the rebellion, things that you haven't heard before.
Yeah.
World building. And I was just like leaning in and watching these two guys, and you realize that they must pool their resources. The rebellion needs a central figure, and that central figure is Mon Mothma, and they don't have her yet.
Yeah.
They have to get her to unify all of these disparate factions. And that's not going to be easy.
No,
So
but it's compelling.
it is compelling.
Compelling as hell.
Good drama.
From Marie Seafring again. Great face acting from Diego Luna. He has almost zero dialogue, but you know exactly what he's thinking. Oof.
And his gaze, I do love the fact that they show him taking in all of the details, seeing everything that he's showing us. The reactions in his face are also directing us to all the different details about the prison that we need to know, which I think is great too.
Yeah.
Again, great storytelling.
Absolutely. Well, and it's a real testament to his acting ability too. When you're in an on-camera class, they always talk to you about how the camera picks up everything, all of your thoughts. And it's really hard to not just completely broadcast everything. And having that kind of subtlety when a camera's that close to you too, you have to be so honest and authentic and really believe the world that you're existing in. And he's doing such a good job of that.
Yeah. And it is just, I mean, I can't help but see the allusions to the German concentration camps of World War II.
Yeah.
Those men standing there waiting for that steam bath, the dehumanization of just standing in a room with your naked compatriots with bright lights around you. There's no modesty. There's no consideration.
Lights are never off. I
Never
mean,
off.
It's hell. Oh my gosh.
It
They've
is
done a
hell.
really great job of just portraying all of that.
So good. Never want to be there.
No. Once again, this is not fun,
No.
but it's good storytelling.
Yes. What's
From
next?
A. Marcellus. I don't trust Mon Mothma's husband. Me neither. That man is sleazy and up to no good. He looks like he would betray his wife to the Empire in a heartbeat. Hard agree, A. Marcellus. Hard agree. Even I also don't trust her daughter.
No.
I don't trust any of them.
No, and I think that her husband is a sellout, and that's what's going to cause her to flee.
Yep.
She's going to be discovered. And the husband has been easily keeping a dossier on her or for whatever reason, but he is not to be trusted. That guy's a douche. Mm-hmm. I mean, the hair is a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Man bun central.
Ugh.
Probably smells like patchouli, too.
Oh, man.
Dirty hippie. Anyway, what's next?
From Tim Platt. Not a fan of this episode, but Andy Serkis was great and Forrest Whitaker was a treat. Hey, that's totally fair, Tim. Because, I mean, really, it is one of those ones of, did anything really happen in this episode?
Yeah.
It feels like we built up a lot of tension and we've got a lot of things happening, but narratively moving the story forward, nothing really happened.
Well,
so I can understand that.
But we're learning so much
Yes.
about the world. And we're learning, I mean, we're seeing a juxtaposition. We're learning about the Empire. If nothing else, Andor is a show that will definitively tell us why the Galactic Empire deserves to be defeated
Yes.
on every level of society. And that's something I didn't expect from this show.
Yeah. Same.
So-
But hey, if this episode didn't work for you, totally understand it. No big deal. Hopefully next week's hits a little harder for you.
It's like an episode of Seinfeld, but dark.
Yeah.
It's not about anything, but it is.
But it
though.
is. But it is. From Matt Tueen. Love the parallel of Sidious manipulating both sides to get to the point the imperial reign is what the people want, and Luthen's idea that oppression spurs rebellion.
I totally agree with that. I mean, what do you think the odds are that we see Palpatine in this season?
Oh, I definitely think we will, because we've already had name drops, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like Palpatine is the Chekhov's gun of this season, because we've had him mentioned by name. We've also then had, we're trying to save the Empire from the Emperor. I think we got to see him before the season finale.
Have to see him, and I think he's going to confront Mon Mothma. They're going to get into it. That's what I'm waiting for. I mean, if somebody asks me what do I really want to see from the climax, there's going to be a battle. There's got to be a space battle of some kind, a pretty big one, much bigger. We're going to see we saw X-wing fighters this episode.
Yes, we did.
We saw a little bit of Saw Gerrera's base that was very sort of Force Awakens. But yeah, we saw a little. So you don't talk about Chekhov's gun. How about an X-wing fighter? You don't show an X-wing fighter if you're not going to pull it.
No.
So I love that. We don't know how many, but Saw Gerrera needs equipment. But I do think we're going to see Palpatine confront Mon Mothma. There's going to be a moment there.
Oh, absolutely.
But can we just talk about Mon Mothma's outfits?
They're flawless.
To die for.
The costuming on her is so phenomenal. Aaron was talking about on the main show the other day about the kind of 1940s kind of design of a lot of her stuff too. Just all the clean lines, the kind of white through beige wardrobe colors she's using too. Oh, so well done.
She's a MILF. A Mon I want to.
Oh, well done.
Instead of mom.
Well,
But she's a mom too.
how long you been sitting on that one?
Just now.
Whoa.
What's next?
From Cameron Hooten, or Hooten, sorry if I butchered that. Andor 108.
Or Houghton if you're Dutch.
Ooh, okay, thank you. Luthen calls out to his assistant by Clea. Then when she doesn't respond, he calls out again saying Leia. I played this 10 times. He clearly calls her Leia. Timestamp between 37:32 and 37:37.
I heard that, and I was in the other room.
Yeah. I got confused about, I was like, why he calling her that? What's happening here? She's going to show up.
That's interesting, but that is interesting. I just think that would be, to not have an actress that we would immediately recognize seems weird, but maybe we won't. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm wondering if it's a nickname or if that was just a red herring or.
Yeah, but I just don't think that we're going to, people would know. I mean, she's
not
famous.
The right age, I don't think.
Yeah. So I just don't think the show would do that to us.
Especially since they already did we're not doing fan service, and that would be.
But Palpatine showing up, let's be clear, that is not fan service.
No, because that's important to the narrative.
Yes.
That makes sense.
And they're dealing with senators. You're waiting to see the Imperial Senate. And we know that he's addressed the Senate before it was the Imperial Senate.
And we know that we're going to see Leia at the end of this story when she says, hope.
Right. Oh, you worked in Luthen's antique shop.
Yeah.
No.
No one missed her while she was just
Right.
day playing in the antique
I'm
shop.
playing with these Jedi artifacts.
What else we got?
What's going on?
Albert L., what do you think the prisoners communicating with the sign language? What do you
Food
think?
any better down there? Probably not. No, but I mean, clearly there's like with all prisons, there's prison gangs, there's prison undergrounds, there's probably all kinds of, looking for. I mean, what I love about this prison is they really do a great job of showing how difficult it would be to escape from this place. There's many, I mean, the floor itself is your enemy.
Yeah.
So to know that there's operatives or people that know one another from the same group that are communicating across floors, I can't wait to see this, because maybe that's what Andor takes advantage of. There's an uprising that's going to happen that's going to allow him to escape. But who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I liked it. What's next?
Calvin Severo Penhome. I'm liking the show, but it doesn't feel Star Wars to me. It feels like a war drama wearing a Star Wars skin to get more views. I prefer the series that I can watch with the younglings in my family. Love you guys. You're not watching this with the younglings when somebody got this episode? When someone killed themselves?
Someone killed themselves.
That's not a show you watch with the whole family? That's fair.
I mean, I just, as much as I love this show, I do think about the time when Kathleen Kennedy sat down to watch this, because when Rogue One was in production, they famously talked about how it was too dark, that was just too, like, they had to lighten it up. That's why they were doing reshoots. And I'm like, compared to this, like, that was, I can't imagine what it was like. I mean, I know they wanted to lean into the war of it all, which they have here. But yeah, this isn't exactly, I just wonder if the Disney brass watched this and Bob Chapek said, does this ever get fun? I mean, I think it's fun, but you know what I mean? I
don't see any of our players over at Disney dressing up and doing meet and greets as these characters.
No.
No.
Well,
Although I got to tell you,
Star Wars Rebels for that. Not every show has to be for everyone.
That's very, very true.
I think this is going to, there's going to be a whole new group of fans that want to be imperial supremacists. And that's what they'll do. They'll cosplay. We already have the 501st, Vader's Fist.
That's true.
I mean, you've got now a whole new group of people in uniforms that they can march for charity in.
Boom. There we go.
I mean, I want those prison fatigues. That's what I'm going to dress up for Halloween for. I mean, how topical would that be? You could throw that costume together very, very quickly, and you wouldn't even have to wear shoes.
Oh, man. You got to do that Friday or Monday.
Maybe I will.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to get a white jumpsuit and come in there.
Ooh, I love that.
Or I'll just carry some steam around and walk in with nothing on.
We really need an HR department.
True.
We need to lock this down.
What's next?
From Ismail Montoya. Hey guys, I was excited about this episode, love the prison, and I'm excited to see him escape. Also, it seems he's memorizing everything he sees.
Oh, I think he absolutely is. I mean, I think that's part of what his powers of observation. And there's a lot of interesting stuff. The production design in this prison is really interesting. I mean, they've done some really, there's a lot of thinking that went on. Like, was this the first time we actually saw a toilet in the Star Wars universe? Here's your toilet.
We've seen a bathroom in Mandalorian.
But did they say the word toilet? Did they actually say that? I guess we saw a bathroom. I guess we did.
I don't know.
That just seems so odd when you heard, like, they don't have a Star Wars name for it.
Yeah.
It's just a toilet.
Like how coffee's calf.
Yeah, right.
The toilet is going to have a fancy spacey name.
Yeah.
Like Tim with 2 M's.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for.
It's toilet with 3 T's. That's how they did it.
Yeah.
What else we have? J Master, does this episode make you not want to walk without shoes on because you never know when the Empire will surprise you by shocking the floor with electricity? I felt that during that scene.
You know what, Jay? He's not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, because they've turned the floor literally into a villain.
Yeah.
Like, you see the lights. I mean, I love the way Diego Luna played it when he finally looked down and realized the white light was flashing. And he knew he had 7 seconds. He was kind of all spaced out, taking it all in. And then he did that he jumped back so he would get off the floor. I mean, that was really good.
Yeah.
That was some, but man.
How nefarious though. It's very Portal. The floor will kill you.
The floor will kill you.
Yeah.
And I love the fact they said that the guy who decided to ice himself to commit suicide, he's just going to stay there cooking on the floor all night long. Like, no one's going to come in and get rid of his body.
Like, I don't have a sense of smell, and that upsets me, that everyone would be in there just getting a whiff of that cooking.
Yeah, and it would
Blah.
just get worse and worse and worse. What's next?
From D.A. Hampton, I guess the story needed to be him in jail, but I don't like the way they did it. He can impersonate an Imperial officer, but can't be cool on the beach.
DA, I felt that way. I did not like the fact that he was not cool on the beach, but sometimes he was flustered. I don't think he expected an Imperial presence there, and he was sort of panicked.
Yeah.
People get panicked.
Well, it sounded like he'd been kind of goofed up on some various substances too while he'd been there.
Yeah, I mean,
he was partying.
He was partying with a hot chick,
Yeah.
and then of course, I wonder if he's going to go back to that hotel and just find his stuff on top of that shower, his money, his weapons.
No one ever looks up there.
They never do.
No one looks up.
I hope he does find it.
Yeah.
He deserves it. What's next?
From Connie Zhang. Hi, Connie.
Hello, Connie.
Like Hot D, I appreciate the incredible face acting in this show. Watching Andor absorb the workings of the prison, Daedra pursing her lips, etc.
Oh, I agree. Daedra, I don't know that actress, but man, do I love her face.
She's so good.
She's so good. And like she does the way she purses her lips. And the thing about Diego Luna is he has kind of this, he almost looks like a puppy dog, but now that they've got him, so I want to just, even I want to just take him aside and buy him a drink and be like, dude, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But it isn't gonna be okay.
No.
But I do love the faces, all the faces. The casting on this show is impeccable. I'm really loving. It's funny. I do want to know, did they call up Andy and they're like, hey man, did Tony Gilroy said, I want you to come in and just play this part. It's not much of a part, but I want you. It's got to be you.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he'd probably say, sure, why not?
Why? Because why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
Right? Andy, would you like some Star Wars money? Would you like more Star Wars money?
You'll get another action figure that people actually like
Yeah.
or not like or hate.
Right.
Anyway, what's next?
From J Master, 4 episodes of Andor left. My guest episodes 11 and 12 will be the grand finale, finishing off season 1 with an epic battle and show us what's next in season 2.
I agree. I think that the rebel factions are going to be brought together in 8, 9, and 10. Well, in 9 and 10, we're going to see. Obviously, whatever the results of Saw Gerrera and Luthen's meeting is, someone's going to reach out to those Mon Mothma. It's probably going to be Mon Mothma out of necessity, and they're going to use that money they're going to have bought the weapons they need to do whatever assault that they need to assault, whatever they're going to do. And it's going to be big. Yeah. They're leading up to it. And I think it's going to be, if it's like episode 6, The Eye, it's going to be incredibly satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Same here. From J Master, sending in a $20 super chat on top of that. Thank you so much, Jay. Do you guys believe the reason Andy Serkis came back to Star Wars again is that Disney offered him a role in the upcoming Star Wars movie or to direct a Star Wars movie or series? Gal was voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard. Good job, Bryce.
No, I don't think so. I think that they probably just asked him because they shot this in Europe.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Tony Gilroy was out to dinner and ran into him and said, hey, man, why don't you come down and do this?
Yeah.
I don't think you don't have to dangle.
No.
We're going to let you direct a Star Wars movie to come play. They don't need to do that, nor would they.
No.
Play it because it doesn't buy them anything. And the fact that they didn't promote it leads me to believe that it was just a fun thing that they were able. It's like Daniel Craig playing a stormtrooper in Force Awakens.
Exactly. Hey, you're here.
Yeah.
You want to do this?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Who doesn't want to do that?
That's pretty much every actor is like, hell yeah, I'll do that. Matt Damon is playing the theater version of Loki.
Right.
Like this is the kind of stuff that we want to do.
Absolutely. And he probably did it for scale.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
I'll day play. This
Why
would be great.
not? It'd be great.
And that's everything.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's it, everyone. That brings us to an end of our Andor after show for episode 8, which is the name of the prison planet, which I keep wanting to say Nemoidia, but it's not.
That's not right.
It's not.
But I don't know what it is.
It starts with an N, I think. But I want to thank everyone for giving us great things to talk about. Thank you for supporting the channel via Super Chats, because you do give us great things to talk about, and you support the channel while you're doing it. which we think is great, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Well, Chris, where can people find you on social media?
Oh man, you can find me at actor Chris Carr on both Instagram and Twitter. You can also go on Halloween Day. You can download the game Thanksgiving Day. I'm a voice in it. My husband Logan's a voice in it. We've got some of the original cast from Halloween and American Horror Story in there too. It's going to be really, really fun. Murderous turkeys, let's go.
Where can you download it?
Just, I think you can find all the links through my Twitter account or follow Thanksgiving Day on Twitter. All right?
Okay.
Yeah, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Well, that's exciting. I'm, of course, Robert Burnett. You can find me on Instagram at RMBurnett. Find me on Twitter at BurnettRM, or find me on my own YouTube channel, Post Geek Singularity. I want to thank our producer, Jonathan Boyko, back there for making some good jokes. And then, of course, fast on the draw on the actual console, Taylor.
Woo-hoo!
Taylor Gonzalez. So thank you for that, gentlemen. Thanks for producing the show. We will be back next week for episode 9.
Yes,
Moving into
we
the home
will.
stretch, the last 4, the final 4, as it were.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions?
Man, I don't know. I want more B2 emo. Love that
B2 emo.
droid.
I think he's going to get liberated.
I hope so. Love him.
I don't
want
want to I just don't want to see someone die and he just has to rot away in a corner somewhere.
Oh, yeah, because Mom for sure is not going to make it through these
No.
4 episodes.
No. Well, on that note, from all of us here at the John Campea Show, may the Force be with you. Not on this show, though.